Hey folks, so kind of bummed out, man. Jen and I did a whole lot of work the other day cutting firewood, and I deleted all of our footage. Boy, I have not been having a good time with videotaping these last few weeks. Oh well, can't really dwell on it. You got to just kind of move on. So that's exactly what we're doing. And so this is our second firewood video. So we had bucked a bunch of wood here that was here, and now it's all gone. And we spent 2 days splitting wood. We had rented a wood splitter from one of our neighbors, and we got quite a bit done. Let's go take a look and see what we got. So we split, I think we split probably about 3 quarts, 2 or 3 quarts, somewhere in there, over those 2 days. You can hear Jen, she's in there splitting right now. The splitting this time around went so much easier. We found that splitting in November, as opposed to, I think, what, July or early August, man, big difference. We were able to split and not have any issues. We realized renting that and borrowing, a wood splitter, we're kind of under the gun. We have to return them in a set amount of time, and so it really, gets us down to having to do work during from the time that we have it. We made the decision to invest in something, and it is awesome. And the best part is it's ours. So now we can split whenever we want. Yeah, so we've got our own splitter now, and it was a big investment, but we realized that being out here so far off the grid, it was an absolute necessity. It really is a game changer for us in the sense that we can split whenever we need to split. We're not bound to having to borrow it or be a burden on one of our neighbors or have to rent it. Now the splitter that we got is a Country Line, and we did buy it from TSC, and it's a 25 ton, and I'll tell you what, this thing is just a beast. We've thrown some pretty big logs at it, and it's just chewed them up. So we're really happy. We've got enough firewood, I think, for this year. We're getting into December now, and from the looks of it, I think we're doing okay. But we're going to keep splitting. The whole plan here is to be 2 years ahead. When we're talking about kindling, Jen and I have found that the bark off of our firewood is top-notch kindling. We've tried to split small stuff and twigs and all that, but I'll tell you what, man, this bark off of these hardwoods, there is nothing like it. It works phenomenally. Just unbelievable. So while we're splitting wood, we basically just pile it all up and then throw it in these bins. And what do you think? A bin lasts about a week or two, right?
Yep.
A couple of weeks. So we've got like 4 or 5 bins that we circulate. And
in fact, we got to take those two up to the house since they've been sitting here, and put these here to let them dry a little bit more.
Yep. All right. Well, hey folks, thanks for watching. Think we've got this whole firewood thing worked out and figured out. Having our own splitter here is a huge benefit for us and a huge improvement. almost there.
Oh God. Ah! Ah! Oh! I did it!
Hey folks, so this video is a little different than most of our videos in the past. It's a little more humbling and a little more, a lot more of me just sitting here talking to you folks. So we had a pretty serious accident here. Boy, it was a big eye opener to us. So Jen and I moved out here and chose this lifestyle for a whole slew of reasons. You know, it was really difficult for the both of us to do this, leave good jobs, leave a very comfortable lifestyle, move out to a state that we've had no relationship and no connection to prior to finding this property, leaving friends, family, all that stuff. But we knew that we wanted this lifestyle, and everything that we wanted was here in Maine. With that though, and with that excitement and with the allure of living a self-sustaining homestead lifestyle, is the responsibility and awareness that living this self-sufficient homesteading lifestyle is dangerous. We knew that going into this, and we made all of the conscious preparations that we could, from collecting medical supplies and making sure that the property we found was far enough in the bush so we could have some of that type of freedom, but was also close enough to a hospital so that in the event we needed it, we could get there relatively quick. We didn't want to move out here and just survive. We didn't want to move out here and get hurt and just wither away and die. We wanted to move out here and thrive in this lifestyle. And we've been doing this now for 6 months, and we are doing just that. We are building a homestead from scratch, and it's a lot of trial and error. There's been a lot of bumps and bruises, and some scrapes and cuts, and we knew that, and we are okay with that. But this last one was a little bit more, again, just a humbling experience. Jen and I were out here splitting some firewood behind me, and it was getting dark. It was overcast, kind of like today is, and so it was a little dark in there. We had been working all day. We were both very exhausted, and we were splitting firewood for the wood cook stove. And so for our wood cook stove, rather than having these, the large chunky wood that we would typically use to heat the home with, for the wood stove, we need to split them down to really smaller pieces. And so that just requires a little bit more splitting. Well, Jen was working the splitter. I was feeding her logs to split, and then putting logs, or stacking the split logs up. And at some point during that time, unfortunately, Jen got her left hand caught between a piece of between a log and the back plate of the splitter. She immediately let out a scream, as most of us probably would. She was smart enough and conscious enough to shut the machine off, and or let her hand off the controls, which then stopped the splitter from moving, and then hit the lever back to release the pressure on the splitter, or on the splitter. She was wearing some very thick gloves because it was very cold that day. We both were. Unfortunately, she did have her rings on, as I have my wedding ring on. She had her wedding ring and her engagement ring on, and the rings got crushed on her finger. It did. Her finger was cut. It was, it was bleeding, and she was in a pretty bad spot, as you could imagine. So we were down here at the wood splitter, so we immediately walked to the cabin, and as I tried to get some stuff out of the cabin, lock the dogs up, things like that, get some ice, she realized that the rings would, if we didn't get them off, they were going to cause more problems. And so I grabbed some tin snips, and I had to cut her wedding rings off, which at the time I had no issues with. The rings are rings, so anyway, so we cut the rings off, and I think I got a for ice, since we don't have actual ice, I think I grabbed a bag of like the chicken and garlic stovetop ready-made dinners that you have, or that you can buy in the store, and I grabbed some turkey and ham lunch meat. And so because that was the first thing that I saw in the freezer, so we grabbed a couple I grabbed a towel, wrapped her hand up in it, and we took off and went to the hospital. Miraculously, after an x-ray, she had no broken bones. The tendons were good. The lacerations that she had were superficial. They did not require any stitches. And the doctor and the nurse that was there explained to us that had we not cut those rings off, she could have probably most likely had more damage to her finger. So we're just very, very grateful that the damage was minimal, because we know it could have been so much worse. She has been an absolute trooper during this whole ordeal. We're taking care of her hand. She's been doing a lot of, exercises, moving her hand, and we're very, 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 very grateful that the damage, again, was not as bad as it could have been. We understand about safety. I mean, I'm a quality director. She was a supervisor, and we understand, or we understood coming out here, that we had to be very careful with everything that we did, all of the activities, and we do the very best that we can to do so. I think, since we've been here, complete noobs from the city, this was really the first big accident that we've had on the homestead. I'm very happy that her and I take safety and precautions. I'm very proud that we do that. We don't just simply throw caution to the wind, but unfortunately, as is such life, accidents happen. And Jen, it wasn't that Jen was had never run that splitter. She ran that splitter like a champ. I think it was simply just a culmination of being a little dark, being tired, working a long day, and then, it just happened, and it happened so fast. Be that as it may, we learned something from here. This was certainly a situation where we've got a you know, a lessons learned opportunity. We made certain pacts to each other when we came out here, and certain commitments to each other. And I think in this regard, at least the aftermath of this accident has renewed some of those vows that we made to each other when it comes to feeling tired and you know, sore, or just not feeling good, you know, about a situation. And so, you know, this has certainly called to action, if you will, those vows that if either one of us are either exhausted, tired, sore, don't feel good about a situation, we'll tell each other that and we'll communicate that to each other, and then no questions asked, we stop doing what we're doing, and we either you know, take a step back, recollect, you know, rethink what we're doing, or whatever the case might be, but we stop doing it. That has manifested into a very successful you know, non-accidental time, you know, that we've been here, because we haven't had many accidents. So I think this certainly helped draw some attention to that, and that we need to be a little bit more, you know, vocal and communicative with each other, so that, you know, we can prevent, or do everything we can to prevent, you know, accidents from happening. So I will leave you with this. Homesteading is dangerous. There's no doubt about it. We're doing things every day that is dangerous. Hell, as soon as I'm done with this video, I got to chop up more wood with a chainsaw. You know, and then I got to go split more wood. You just take precautions. You know, be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what you're doing. If you're feeling tired, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're not feeling, you know, good about a situation, then stop. Just stop. Take a step back. Reassess it. You know, I mean, that's what we're doing. You know, that's my recommendation to you folks, especially new folks who are getting ready to transition from city life to this lifestyle. You know, just be aware that accidents happen, and they're going to happen. There's no doubt about it. You just have to be prepared for them when they do happen, and you need to react appropriately. What we found, I'll add this though, is that it's very easy to panic, but panicking just makes things worse. So don't panic. You know, there's a way out of every situation. You just gotta be aware and think through them. So, well, I'm gonna skip over here and we're gonna talk to Jen here for a moment. And so yeah, let's go talk to Jen. So we are 1 week. How's it feeling?
Still swollen.
Let's see. Move your fingers. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
This one's no problem.
Yeah.
It's getting stiff because I have to keep doing this because I don't use it as much, and as the day goes on, the swelling causes my hand to kind of pull in.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still icing.
Let's see where the ring cut it. Turn it around. So we're gonna just keep working on it, and you know, keep hoping and praying for, you know, her to get back 100%, which she will. It's just gonna take some time, but yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the rings real quick. So the rings were pretty mangled, and here they are. We were fortunate enough to find a jeweler up in Presque Isle, Maine, who's going to be able to, or they're going to attempt to fix them. So we're very, very grateful for that. It is a little expensive, but you know, we figured what better way to, you know, try to move past this and get those rings fixed for her. They meant a lot to her, and they mean a lot to us, you know, as do anybody's wedding rings. If you want to help out, you know, I've got our Venmo account down in the description. Any support would be so much appreciative. We would really, really appreciate all of it, and any of it. And with that, you know, thank you for sticking around and watching this video. We appreciate all of you supporters, all of our followers, and we just wanted to do this video to share our story with you and share our experience with you, and in the hopes of maybe preventing an accident on your homestead. So with that, thanks again for all of your support. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you on the next video. God bless you.